at the beginning, during the opening credits, like in a movie, when we said we support this, we support that, to cut a long story short, I didn't mention that as the European Food Summit, we support everything which is European connected. So therefore, we support the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press in Hungary. We support the legal rights of Polish women to get their pregnancies interrupted. And we support also the Italian alcoholic rights to recover. So we support a lot of things, Europeans and also not Europeans. For example, we support the Canadian Indigenous Rebellion. That thing will lead us to someone very dear, a dear, 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 dear one, to an absent friend. Of course, she's not here today for many reasons. But let me tell you a little bit about this fantastic person. Whoever has already met Colombe Saint Piere, Madame Colombe Saint Piere, will never forget her for all his or her life. She is one of her kind. She's a chef, a great chef. She has been doing for almost 20 years, she has been living a very difficult life, running with her husband and plus the kids, a restaurant really at the other end of the world, 6 hours and something away from Montreal. She has been investigating the local culture, the local products, the wildlife that ends up in her creations. She has been living in a survival mood against the law of the markets, against the star system, against the usual notions of luxury. And Colombe, it's the kind of girl, you know, she's in Canada, so 1 a.m. in the morning before going to sleep, hey, why don't I call Colombe and see how she's going? She might pick up the phone. And so we might have those very late at night discussions. She came to Europe a few times, and she was meant to be here for the second edition of the European Food Summit. But then a lot of things happened. For example, she didn't reopen her own restaurant during the summer of 2020. Normally a restaurant, correct me if I'm wrong, Marie-Claude, the restaurant was open in a place called Le Bic, really at the other end of the world, from, say, May to November. But 2020 was the annus horribilis, and she didn't open the restaurant. Then we spoke regularly. For example, last year, instead of reopening the restaurant, she organized a thing. She cooked family meals, street food stuff, the way you want to call it, in the middle of the square of her little tiny village. And then things went on. Some places reopened for a few months, then the pandemic struck back, etc. And then May, June, July, I called her during summer and I asked the stupid question, the really stupid question. Hey, how is the restaurant going, Colombe? We didn't reopen. What do you mean we didn't reopen? We didn't reopen because the borders, normally a destination restaurant would say borders are still closed. We don't get customers coming from Singapore, the States, China, Dubai, whatever. So can we live only with the locals, or when we open, working mostly for the locals, can we do the same kind of food that we used to do for the whole world? That's a very important question. Some people, during the entr'acte between two waves of the pandemic, adopted a different form of offering, a different form of food, slightly simpler, slightly less expensive. They were just trying to gain time and have a better understanding of the situation. But Colombe, she did not reopen her own restaurant, not even this year, and she has launched a project. She called it Les Cantines Côtières. Basically, she organized a mobile thing you will see in the images, made with junk materials, a very survivalistic way. And she used to cook 6 days a week in the middle of her village for everybody. So basically she went from serving one service only at dinner time, 50 covers per night, to 400 meals per day, which is a nice difference. But on top of that, all these crisis made her think and rethink and try to come up with her husband to new possible solutions. For the moment, to run a restaurant like their own is not economically viable. So what she's doing, she's developing this project, Le Cantine Côtières. She will amplify this project, and when the winter is gone, she will launch, she will send out, traveling around Canada, different units of those Cantine Côtières to investigate one particular region, one particular location with its own specifics when it comes to culture, oral cultures, food cultures, wildlife, and then gaining knowledge, gaining a little bit more money, because these units, Le Cantine Côtières, serving 400 meals, is much, much more profitable than running a restaurant for 50 persons only. And so she will come back, hopefully one day, hopefully at the end of next year in a different form, but Colombe, our resistant from the Canadian Indigenous Rebellion, will be back. She couldn't be here because she has many things going on in her life, in her family life, and of course, like in most of the places around the world, half of her team left, changed life. Her sous chef, brilliant guy who was very much into game, he left for good the world of food and went into hunting and being a guide for hunting, a completely different life with his wife, the kids, etc. So I said, Colombe, are you sure that you cannot come to Ljubljana? She said, honestly, no. And I didn't insist because I respect her a lot. Can you do something? Yes. Sure. And so she shot this video. Originally, her speech talk was called The End of the Fucking World, or At the End of the Fucking World. Now it's like surviving in an apocalyptic end of the world. And it's a drama, and I hope you like dramas, because dramas can also be inspirational and might even lead to some happy end. Hope you enjoy. Colombe Saint Piere.
À l'est du Canada, dans la province de Québec, au bord du large fleuve Saint-Laurent, là où la nature reprend ses droits et demeure encore généreuse. Quelques cow-boys du Far East prirent d'assaut ce bâtiment pour faire rayonner la culture culinaire québécoise. far from cities, close to the nature. Or, how we used to say in Russian,
Есть такая пословица. Курицу, выращенную в поле, едят в городе.
sur ce territoire que l'histoire a dépossédé de ses ressources, on a prôné un développement géré comme des comptoirs d'extraction de ressources. Ses habitants ont avec le temps oublié les grandes richesses de leur patrimoine culinaire. La solution? Un restaurant en quête d'identité propose une nouvelle gastronomie culinaire québécoise qui priorise l'autonomie alimentaire par l'achat de proximité, la recherche sur le naturel sauvage comestible, le développement d'une fierté territoriale. Une idée vieille comme le monde, mais complètement oubliée. Les embûches foisonnent dans ce système mondialiste et seules les lois de marché du capitalisme sont au menu. Au terme de 18 années de travail culinaire acharné, un vent de reconnaissance populaire s'est levé.
Hey, mon ami, t'aimes ça manger des patates? Je te présente le concept cantine côtière, entièrement fait de matériaux recyclés, le cajou de patates recyclées. Ici, en guise de table, un endroit pour déposer ta bière. Pas cher, pas cher! La cantine côtière est réalisée à base de containers recyclés, entièrement recyclés, magasinés au métal du golf. Containers auxquels on a ajouté la couleur rouge pour signaler au monde entier qu'on était dans le rouge, financièrement. Allez, viens! Ici, quelques accessoires, on se désinfecte les mains. Alors, des décorations qui sont incluses, de vieux frigos, une récupération de poêles à ma tante Ginette et ainsi que quelques lumières de décoration. Emballage à 100% compostable. Nouvelle cuisson cow-boy réalisée à base de vieux bidons, ainsi qu'une unité de cuisson. Les wok cow-boy avec poignée de cheval. Les portes de grange. Achète dès maintenant.
Chez Saint-Pierre et sa brigade ne peuvent concevoir de voir s'écrouler les fondations de la culture culinaire québécoise. La pandémie a maintenu les géants et fragilisé les petits déjà fragilisés. La cuisine de rue sera notre salut. Interdite au Québec, un autre combat commence. Le modèle imaginé est COVID-proof. De 50 couverts gastronomiques, nous passerons à 400 couverts formule cantine. Une révolution, un chaos sans précédent. Le fameux modèle des volumes connu dans le monde industriel, repris par la production artisanale, nous mettra sur une piste. Financièrement dans le rouge, nous tentons de reconstruire ce qui a été déconstruit. Les cantines côtières seront élaborées dans une cour à scrap de métal. Ces tables de vieux cajots de patates, ces ardoises au menu de vieilles tables, ces unités de cuisson, des vieux tonneaux et des wok cow-boy, pas de chaise, ça coûte trop cher. de magnifique avec une pandémie mondiale, c'est qu'elle déstabilise l'ordre établi. Ce désordre a ainsi créé ce qu'on a nommé le chaos. Contrairement à une tendance populaire qui est de souhaiter le retour des choses comme avant, nous, ici, à DN, n'avons pas peur de se questionner, se repositionner et s'organiser. Restaurer la restauration pour définir la part de la gastronomie dans ce chaos nécessaire. Les arts de la table sont depuis toujours une porte de réflexion pour chaque société. Chez St-Pierre se lance donc dans la restauration de la restauration. So what? Ce qui veut dire faire reconnaître la part de la gastronomie quand elle contribue au développement d'une société, la démocratiser et la rendre plus accessible. Éduquer davantage les mangeurs, jeunes et moins jeunes, politiser l'alimentation et simplement s'adapter, cuisiner, toujours respectueux des limites de ce qui se mange. Puisque nos gouvernements tardent à comprendre l'urgence de soutenir la restauration et son identité culinaire québécoise, nous organiserons et financerons nous-mêmes cette révolution. Comment? En créant une marque cantine côtière, société par action, gérée par la brigade côtière, composée de l'équipe des survivants du restaurant Chez St-Pierre. D'autres unités côtières verront le jour en respectant toutes les valeurs prônées par Chez St-Pierre en version street food. Ce concept largement plus rentable financera la renaissance du restaurant Chez St-Pierre dans sa version après COVID. Avant de renaître, nous entamerons un Québec Tour à la manière d'un Ben Rock. Osciller toutes les régions, explorer leur potentiel culinaire, développer le sentiment de fierté pour et par ses habitants. Un retour aux valeurs sociales et communautaires véhiculées depuis l'ère de Cro-Magnon, mais oubliées avec le temps. Avec évidemment une touche technopop.